Hello everyone, ovesen.net. I hope you're all fantastic. I have got myself a package from eBay, as you can see. So I'm very excited to open this now, which I'm gonna do. This one was sent to me from the United States, and as you can imagine, the postage was almost as much as the machine itself. So yeah, so I hope it's working. At least he used a lot of bubble plastic. Okay, so here it is. A Commodore Plus 4. Nice. I have never had a Commodore Plus 4. So, and the box looks okay. Here's the American 110 volt power supply, which I can't use here in this country. We use 230 volts, of course. Looks like a TV modulator or a switch box. And then the machine. Okay, machine looks very nice. It's a bit dirty, but nothing's broken. That's good. So I think I'll do the regular cleaning. I'm just gonna test if it works first. The Commodore Plus 4 was released in 1984. And the name Plus 4 refers to that it came with 4 applications. It was a word processor, a spreadsheet, database and graphing. It shared the same architecture as the Commodore 16 and 116. The machine had some success in Europe, but it was a failure in the United States. The Plus 4 runs Commodore Basic 3.5, which is quite extended the Basic if you compare it to the Commodore 64. The CPU is the MOS 7501, which is a variant of the 6510, but it runs at a higher clock frequency than the Commodore 64. The graphics and the sound comes from the Ntsc chip. And the graphic resolution and color space was better than the Commodore 64. However, it lacked the hardware sprite support. Now the Plus 4 uses a different power connector than the Commodore 64, even though it is the same voltages. The plug is different. So let me plug it in. Since this is a 110 volt power supply, I can't use it directly, but I have a step-down transformer. This is the step-down transformer that reduces my voltage from 230 to 110, so I can use that one. The video signal is the same as the Commodore 64. It uses the same plug, so I can use one of my cables which goes to my TV via the SCART plug. Okay, the machine is working, but as you can see, there are some artifacts on the screen. And also I noticed the power button doesn't work, so it stays on even if I turn it off. So that's one thing I have to look into. Okay, the power button seems to be working after all, after a while, but still some characters on the screen. And if I try to start the program, it gives me syntax error. So there's clearly something wrong with the graphics. I have to look into. A bit disappointed, but I mean, that's how it is with these old machines. You never know what you're gonna get. So let me open it up. There's 5 screws, 3 here and 2 on this side. So. Okay, let's open it. So let me remove the cable for the keyboard. Yeah, it's just a ribbon cable like this. It looks quite clean and dust-free inside, so might be nothing to do here, but I'm gonna remove the motherboard anyway, just to wash the case. So while the case is soaked in soapy water, I'm gonna remove all the keys to the keyboard in order to clean underneath and clean the keys themselves. That was a strange type of spring. I never seen this before. Okay, that was all the keys, and I think this keyboard has been cleaned recently because it looks nice and clean, a little bit dust. I'm gonna leave the F keys and the arrow keys here in place. Then a little soapy bath for the keys also. When inspecting the motherboard, I can't see anything wrong at first glance. Looks clean and no budging or leak capacitors. So I'm going to clean all the contacts with electronic cleaner. Obviously there was something wrong with the power switch, so I try and spray some contact cleaner inside it. I connected the board to power and video, and let me test. So the power switch seems to be working better now. However, there's still something wrong with this machine, and yeah, need to find out what that is. I got this Commodore 264 Diagnostic Chip, which I'm gonna insert now just to run some diagnostics. So this chip is a replacement for the kernel ROM, which is this one. So you have to pull out the kernel ROM and insert this one. However, I think I got the PAL version, and this is of course an Ntsc system, so I'm not sure if it's gonna work. Okay, let me insert the diagnostic chip. Okay, at least it turns itself on, but doesn't seem to do anything. Okay, I realized I did a mistake. I exchanged this one for the diagnostic chip, but it's actually this one which is the kernel ROM. So let me try and switch out that. Now that the correct chip is replaced, I turn it on again. And nothing at all. Okay, the diagnostic chip didn't work, which is probably because it's made for the PAL machine, and this is an Ntsc, so that was kind of expected. So I have reassembled the machine again, and now I'm gonna figure out what's causing the errors on the screen. Since I started filming, I actually gone ahead and found a new power supply. This is an original Commodore power supply, which is 230 volts, and that works fine here in Norway, so I don't need a step-down converter anymore. So the problem with this machine is that it shows random characters on the screen, and also it doesn't run any basic commands. So anything you write gives you a syntax error, and according to one repair guide I found on the Ray Carlson's Commodore pages, this error has to do with the basic ROM chip, which is the U23. So when repairing or trying to figure out what's wrong with these old machines, it's always good to have a spare, and here's my second Plus 4, which I actually purchased from the United States also, and it's also an Ntsc machine. And this one is actually working, fully working, and I already cleaned it. So let me just test the other one, just to show you that it is in fact working. So I opened up both the machines and they are identical. They have the same assembly number, 310-163. However, there are some differences on the keyboard. This keyboard here, for the one that's working, is different than this one, which has a metal plate behind. So now I'm able to swap chips around, and as the repair guide suggested, the U23 might be the error here. So I'll start with that one. Okay, let me turn it on. Nope, still the same, so that's not the correct chip. So let me search on and swap the other ones. Okay, so I removed the next 4 ROM chips here, which I'm gonna replace with the ones from the working Plus 4. So I have replaced all 5 chips here just to rule out if any of those are the problem. So let me turn on. Still the same error, so actually that's kind of a relief. I hope that the problem is perhaps some RAM chips and not these special ROM or other more advanced chips that might be hard to find. So next I'm gonna swap the TED chip, which is inside this heatsink here, and hopefully it's not that chip, because that's the main graphics and control chip of the Plus 4, and these chips are very hard to find these days, so I hope it's not that one. It sits pretty hard. Yeah, there it is. TED chip been swapped, so let me test. Yeah, and that's a relief actually. Now I have ruled out the most important components are working, and I think it's now down to the RAM chips. Alright, I'm gonna concentrate on the RAM chips here. These 8 chips here are the DRAM for the 64K. So if one or more of the RAM chips are faulty, it's not easy to find which one. So I think I'm gonna put everyone in a socket first, just so I can swap them around and see if it makes any difference. So I'm heating up my desoldering station here, and time for some desoldering. First thing I have to do is remove the shield on the back side of the board, and the shield is of course soldered to the front side, so yeah, I have to remove that first. Then I just bend back these tabs that are holding the back plate shielding. Now I'm gonna desolder all the RAM chips, and it's a big job. It's 128 pins to desolder, so I'm not gonna show that here. I just show you 2 pins. Alright, that was a lot of work. I desoldered all 8 chips, and now it's a matter of getting it off the board, which is never as easy as you might think. They are always stuck in some solder residue or something. So I just gently try to wiggle them loose, and you should never use force because it's so easy to rip off a pin or damage some of the traces. I have learned that the hard way before. And of course none of these are loose now, so I have to go another round with a desoldering station. Okay, that's 1 of 8. Excellent. I finally managed to get the last memory chip out. So now I'm gonna solder in some sockets. Alright, that was 128 pins soldered to the board, and now I'm just cleaning the flux away. 8 new sockets for the RAM. Let me just put it back into the sockets. If there is something wrong with some of the memory, then it should behave differently now if the RAM chips are put in another order than before. I connected the board again and I'm ready to test. Hopefully I didn't ruin any traces or anything, and the soldering job is good, so here we go. Alright, this was kind of expected. If one or more RAM chips are faulty, then putting them in another order would result in a different behavior. And now it's not the characters, it's the colors. Anyway, I got 8 new RAM chips, which I bought a while ago. It's not the exact same number. The existing one is the 426415, and these are 4264. No, sorry, 416415. So I'll try this one. So I swapped the top 4 RAM chips here with the new ones, and now I'm ready to test again. Okay, yeah, that seemed to work. Yeah, excellent. So it's probably one or more of those 4 RAM chips. I hooked up the keyboard just to test if BASIC is working. Yeah, it does. Excellent. So now it's just a matter of trial and error to figure out which of those 4 RAM chips are faulty, so I don't waste potentially 3 good RAM chips. So I nailed the 2 bastards. These are the 2 non-functional RAM chips, which I'm gonna toss away in the garbage. Okay, so I'm reassembling the machine. This might seem like a strange way to find faults in these machines, but if you have a spare machine and can test different components, then it's the easiest way. I could of course use a logic probe or oscilloscope or something to test the RAM chips, but I think that's much harder, more time consuming. So at least if I can do it this way, I will do it. Oops, I almost forgot to put back the shield. I don't think I'm gonna solder it in place. I'm just gonna bend these tabs to hold it like this. Alright, the Plus 4 is working now, but I'm not gonna give it all clear yet. I have to test some software and some games, of course, which I always do. First thing I'm going to test is the built-in software on the F1 key. First one is the word processor. So that was the word processor. If you want to go to the spreadsheet, you just press Commodore Plus C and type Ntsc and hit enter, and then you are into the spreadsheet. Yeah. Okay, so you can let me see if I can add something. No, I guess I have to read the manual to understand what to do, but you also have a file manager built in, so this one you can go to by entering TF. But now you need a disk drive in order to use this one. Also, the Plus 4 comes with a built-in monitor to enter machine code. Just enter the command monitor. And then you can start disassembling the memory and entering machine code. So everything seems to be working just fine so far, so I think I'll just remove this tag here. But test wouldn't be complete without running some games, so I prepared my Raspberry Pi with a couple of games on the memory card here. So this is running the 1541 Pi emulator, so it should work on the Plus 4 too. It has the same serial connector, so I just insert the cable into the Pi and power it up. Okay, the Raspberry Pi is booting and it should go right into loading the memory card. So let me see if it can actually load on the Plus 4. Yeah, loaded. Oh, sorry. List. Of course, on the Plus 4 with basic 3.5, you can type direct, or if I can type directory. Okay, I loaded the file browser for Plus 4 and enter the Plus 4 directory. And the first game I'm gonna test is Loadrunner. Yeah, Plus 4 version 2011 by Tiki of ISN. Okay, I don't have a joystick for this machine. Hopefully I can play with the keyboard. I just need to figure out what keys to use. It's not the arrow key. Now the reason I can't use one of my joysticks is because the Plus 4 has another port for joysticks. So that's a bit strange, but you can get the adapter. So okay, if I can't get Loadrunner to work, I just try Pet Rescue. Okay, what happened there? Suddenly no video available. Okay, so the Pets Rescue game just crashed the machine completely, so I couldn't even use the reset button. I had to turn it off. So I just added a couple of more games and programs. Nope, some of the games just crashed the machine. I don't know if it's because it's an Ntsc system, but the download page stated both PAL and Ntsc, so they should work, or maybe there's still something wrong with the RAM. So I'm trying to load a Pac-Man clone here called Pac. Okay, press space or fire to start. Oh, this one I can use the cursor keys. Okay, that was actually a quite nice game. Okay, Adventures in Time. Press space to start, use cursor keys and space to move. Okay. Oh, I died right away. Okay, I died again. Okay. This is a Christmas demo, however it's June now, so I'm not in the Christmas spirit just yet. Okay, I think this is it. I managed to fix the Plus 4 by replacing some memory chips. I cleaned up everything and it seems to be working just fine now. I tested a few games, some of them work, some don't. If that's due to compatibility issues, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think this turned out to be a success. I now have 2 working Plus 4s, and what I'm planning to do with at least one of them is to do a Ntsc to PAL conversion. However, that will be in another video at a later time. So again, I say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe if you want to see more retro stuff videos. Bye bye!